Chicago is not a city that tolerates racism or hatred.
Coming up, fighting for workers' rights and immigration reform. May Day rallies in America today took on a decidedly anti-Trump tone. Certainly that was the case in Chicago's rally in River North. And images like these stoking fears about so-called bomb trains rolling through Chicago. The rail industry says it's spending billions on new tank cars and training. We'll talk with a representative. And with the passing of Burt Katz, Chicago has lost a bit of its living history in pizza. Hello, I'm Bill Muller. This is CLTV News. And before we fill you in on the details of those stories, let's get you caught up with what's going on in the weather. Here is meteorologist Jim Ramsey.
Temperatures today moved into the upper 40s across much of the Chicago area. That's because of a lake breeze and clouds blocking the sunshine. Tonight we'll drop back to about 41 for a low temperature. There will be some passing showers in the evening. Northeast winds expected to continue, but softer, 3 to 11 miles per hour. Then Monday will start with a high of 58 degrees, some early clouds and maybe a shower in some of the far southern suburbs. But by afternoon, we should get at least a few glimpses of sunshine. Winds will continue off of Lake Michigan at 7 to 17. That means cooler temperatures along the lakeshore. Then on Tuesday, warming up to 71. Plenty of early sunshine. In the afternoon, we may see a few clouds. Winds westerly at 7 to 17 miles per hour.
Well, this is May Day, the 1st of May, and thousands across the country are commemorating this day and are calling attention to immigrant and workers' rights. And in Chicago, union members and leaders are uniting for immigration reform. WGN's Dana Rebick is in River North to tell us more. Dana?
Well, this was a fairly large-sized group made up of union and political leaders as well as immigrants, and they made their way from the west side down here to River North and ended up in front of Trump Tower. The rally and march lasted about 3 hours this afternoon, and once they made their way here in front of Trump Tower, police actually put up some barricades across the street, across Wacker Drive, so those protesters couldn't get too close to that building. They had to do most of the remainder of their rally here where I'm standing across the street. In River North, Dana Rebick, WGN News.
Thanks, Dana. Here's what's new at 7 tonight. A legendary Chicago pizza maker has died. His name, Burt Katz. He was the guy who ran Burt's Place in Morton Grove. He was 78 years old. He'd been in the pizza biz for 52 years, and then he earned worldwide fame after an appearance on Anthony Bourdain's hit show No Reservations. He's considered the first pizza maker to serve a pie with a caramelized crust. A Wicker Park native, Katz was the original owner of Pequod's. He also had a hand in several other Chicago pizza joints. Burt's Place closed last year as Katz's health was deteriorating. He's survived by his wife and 3 children. We're going to tell you about a hit-and-run accident. It killed one person and injured another. The driver did speed away but did not get away. WGN's Tamon Bradley is on the southwest side near where it happened. Tamon?
Bill, this tragedy happened less than a mile from Midway Airport. Authorities say that 2 people, the 2 victims, were crossing the street when a speeding car came by and struck both of them. The driver then took off. That driver, authorities tell us, is in custody and charges are pending. It happened last night around 10:45. Police say a man and a woman were walking across South Archer Avenue at the intersection with South Laverne when they were both struck by a speeding red Jeep. The woman, 42 years old, was taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, where she was pronounced dead. The man, 39 years old, was rushed to McNeil Hospital in Berwyn, where his condition stabilized. It appears a witness was able to take down the license plate of the red Jeep.
I was walking up here and I just seen the girl laying on the floor, and there was a bunch of people around her, and it looked like the guy had sped off and he had ran, and it looked like it was a hit and run. So I know it was a Jeep, but I know the license plate or nothing like that, but somebody that said they got the license plate number down, so.
The Cook County Medical Examiner has not yet released the names of the victims, but authorities do tell us that those charges are pending. We are on the southwest side. Tamon Bradley, WGN News.
Tamon, thanks. CPS Chief Forrest Claypool is painting a pretty alarming picture of what could happen to Chicago's financially troubled public schools if the people in Springfield continue to sit on their hands. WGN's Randy Bellosomo reports that Claypool is getting some help from a church pastor in waking people up to how serious this problem really is.
Mark chapter 9, that Father says, it ain't about me, it ain't about them, it's about my son. Look at somebody down your road and tell them it's about our children, it's about CPS.
Funding for Chicago Public Schools was cast as a moral issue, not as a financial one, by CPS CEO Forrest Claypool and the congregation of Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church this morning on the west side. Governor Bruce Rauner, whose budget would cut CPS funding by $74 million, and the state's Democratic leaders, who support more money for the state's largest school district, have failed to reach consensus.
Even though we've done our best to keep cuts away from the classroom, they still have fewer counselors, fewer after-school programs, older textbooks, and crumbling buildings.
Pastors across the city addressed the funding challenges of CPS and services this morning. Claypool criticized the current funding formula that he says will cause city schools to lose money under the governor's budget, while wealthier districts in the suburbs gain. 20% of the state's population lives in Chicago. 20% of tax revenue comes from within city limits, but CPS receives less than 20% of state school funding.
Our children are 86% low income. They are 85% African American and Latino. Yet they receive a fraction of the educational resources that children in the rest of the state receive.
Claypool says the state is perpetuating two separate but unequal systems of education, and he's asking CPS parents to call the governor's office tomorrow to demand change.
Chicago Public Schools are at a tipping point. We cannot allow the state of Illinois to discriminate against our children any longer.
In response to critics, Rauner's spokeswoman has said that the school district's funding formula is based on enrollment numbers, the number of low-income students, and property values. The budget is being reduced due to declines in student numbers and increasing property values. On the west side, Randy Bellosomo, WGN News.
Non-tenured faculty members say they have struck a new labor deal with the University of Illinois. Nearly 500 instructors, researchers, and other faculty have been on strike for the past 2 weeks. The union said that they will be voting today on whether to suspend the strike, and then they'll vote on the contract later in the week.
After a cold and damp weekend, we're going to watch our temperatures rise, then fall, then rise again over the next several days. I'll have details of what that may mean for us in just a moment.
Breaking news that impacts your country.
No probable cause.